Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu. King Teliano, is that you?
Bro there, what's happening?
This is episode 219 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. Listen, I'm gonna start off with the Patreon producers right off the bat before I go into the Patreon spiel. Shout out to our Patreon producers. We got another new one. Listen, no matter how long this Patreon producer list goes, we will name off every name for producing this and many other episodes this month and many months to come forward. So listen, shout out to our new Patreon supporter, Frozen, aka Jay Sawyer. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. You've been rocking with us for a long time, and we can't do this without people like you and just listening, let alone supporting us on Patreon. So thank you so much. But also, Jay Lee Trey from Shogo High, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture and Shogo High. Chaotic Culture is back, by the way. Explicitly, Monique Williams, Nachi, Shanti, and Saphir. Thank y'all so much for producing this and many other episodes. Producer tier is our most popular tier over on patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. Not only do you get early access to the video version of this podcast, you get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story. Make sure you connect your Spotify to your Patreon so you can get access to that RSS feed with the After Story podcast. You also get access to all of our exclusive content, like our exclusive reviews, watch-alongs, trailers, reacts, etc. You also get your name down in the description of this video on YouTube and in the show notes. It's the first thing that people see. So thank you so much for producing this episode of the podcast, episode 219. This is a very big episode.
Thick boy.
This is gonna be a thick boy. Mic Check Waifu is the anime podcast. It's brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. Okay. Before we get into anything else, how you feeling? No, before we get into how you feeling, let me just say this.
All right.
September 24th is going to be our another live episode of Mic Check Waifu. September 24th, that's Sunday at 10:30 CT PM. That's Sunday, 10:30 CT, September 24th. That's going to be our fall preview, which is happening later than usual, because we usually do the fall preview season much sooner, but we wanted to save it for the end of the month so that we can do the fall preview with you live on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Mic Check Waifu. Join us, because I know Jay Sawyer be there. He was there last time. Jay Lee Trey was there last time. Rob J was there last time. Ked the Pro was there last time. Come through. It's a fun episode. We hope to see you and many others there. It was a good time. It was a very good time. Crystal was there too. She's the reason why I've been binging off my off my watching list to clear that out. Sorry about that, Tel. Now, how you feeling?
I'm good, bro. Like I was kind of like gushing about before we start recording.
Yeah, man, I'm interested.
I'm a goofy, nerdy dude, bro.
Yeah.
I told Polow and some of y'all who have the Patreon access to our podcast on After Story. I've been watching these videos where the scientists explain advanced science or mathematics in 5 different ways, like a kid, teenager, college student, college grad student, and then professor. And it's really good. I just watched one on black holes, and it's like, I'm basically putting a star in a jar, and it's like, yo, I love the concept of how they explain it. So yeah, it's real good. But other than that, I'm happy. It's Paulow's doing really good in school. The girls are doing really good, and more clients for Get Locked In.
Yeah. I'm so excited about that.
So if you listening, Get Locked In. If you want to work out with me online, I have a discount for y'all. Just Mic Check Waifu members. So
what's the discount? Talk to us.
Normally so y'all go to vagaro.com/getlockedinllc, and that's gonna be me. But basically, normally I charge $75 an hour. I'm charging $50 right now for Mic Check Waifu Waifu members only.
That's a good deal.
If you come from Mic Check Waifu Waifu, I got you $50.
That's Get Locked In. That's GETLOCKEDIN. Okay, Get Locked In. What's the website again?
Vagaro.com/getlockedinllc.
There you go. LOCD LLC. Just so y'all, just say that again so you know how to spell it. It's like locks. All right.
How you feeling, bro? How you feeling, Brolo?
Fucking like amped, very, very happy today. Okay. Not only was that news that you gave me earlier got me all fucking hyped for some reason. I'm super stoked about that. But just in a great mood, man. In a great mood. There's a lot that I accomplished this week. I had to take a little break from my Starfield time. I now have 77 hours into that game. Still haven't beaten it. Phenomenal game. Yes. We definitely gonna talk about that on the after story coming next week. So again, if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to that. It's gonna be episode 67 coming next week. I'm excited to talk about that with y'all. But the Browns won. The Browns put a 24-3 to the bet in the Battle of Ohio, the 100th Battle of Ohio. Since he went down screaming, I should say. I was about to say swinging, but more like screaming because it did. Just like it happens every year. Other teams talk the most shit, and the Browns. And I love the fact that the Browns players just let them. They let them talk shit, and then what happens is in situations like this, for instance, where Jamar Chase, which is the number one wide receiver for Cincy, was talking about, I almost called them the Elves, and Cleveland gonna be Cleveland, so we're not worried. It's just another game to us. But we just,
oh my goodness,
we just limited him to 50 something yards. Joe Burrow, which is the most
shutdown.
Joe Burrow, which is the highest paid person in the entire league. We held him to 87 yards or something like that, throwing a 50 quarterback rating. He did terrible. Our defense was unstoppable. It was unbelievable. So I'm pumped about the Browns kicking ass in the Battle of Ohio, especially against Cincy, which is they're in Kentucky. I don't even know why they call that Ohio anyway. But I'm pumped because I got a lot, especially today, because I got a lot to talk about. Man. I'm ecstatic. I am also worried though, because what I'm going to talk about may seem offensive to some of our friends, because I've seen some of our friends say it, and I don't mean this in no negative way, but it's going to come off like that. But it's going to come later when we talk about the One Piece thing.
Got you.
So the One Piece live action is going to be the main topic of today's show. Obviously, we're a little late, but who cares? We watched it. We watched.
It's been a week and a half.
We here though. We talking about it. Got a lot to say about the One Piece live action, but before I get to there, I want to start off with one thing I finished, which was one of the Monogatari series. I continued that trek. It was a Tsukimonogatari, I think it was, which is just 4 episodes. Tsukimonogatari is about the doll. It's the doll series. Phenomenal. Fucking, I remember why the show is so great, but it's also, again, you gotta be able to keep up. It's a lot of dialogue, not much anything else in this particular series, but it was spectacular dialogue. It was spectacular, just conversation and twists and turns, and many, you just learn so much more about the world. So the next one is going to be Ori Monogatari, I think it's called. Ori Monogatari. And those are 2 seasons. This one is 12 episodes, the other is 7. So I'm looking forward to going to that.
Nice.
I'm definitely doing that. Might do that next week. For next week's show, just to get back into it, because it's a fucking great show. Beautiful show.
How you, and I know I used to talk about this a lot in the Monogatari series in general, the sound design. How do you feel about that sound design? Because that show is the one that put me on to I love the silence, because it's they were so intentional about always having a sound, and then when they give you the silence, it's it's a lot.
They do silence well, but it's not even a silence. It's what they do to the voices in certain instances. Whenever there's a line that's pseudo important, the way they emphasize it by taking it to the back. I have very quality headphones and a very quality sound system set up here at my little, desk or whatever. So when they just talk, sometimes they put audio, one in the back of like your headphones and the other like your left, it'll be in your left back headphone, like with a voice, and then the other half of the voice, like the stereo of it, will be in your front right. So like it'll be like almost surround sound, but it's hard to explain because it's an off kilter stereo type of sound,
right?
That is fucking incredible when they emphasize a point, like a word or something, or a phrase of an important matter that is you should pay attention to. Like the doll, I don't want to get into spoilers, but the doll is something about that story. It was only 4 episodes, but it was the way it moved that made me feel like, damn, this is deep, because this is a situation to where our main character is starting to transition into more of what he has been trying to avoid becoming. But in becoming that, he's starting to learn that he might not care about becoming that. And it's the way he handles situations and what he does, and does he want to go that far down this path? And he's unsure, he's unsure. And is he unsure because of the way he feels right now, or is he unsure because he's losing his feeling because of what he's becoming? So like it's a whole dichotomy of just emotion and just beautiful art and sound that is unmatched. Like the funny thing is about Monogatari is that nothing makes sense as far as what's on the screen. There's some times where because there's no way you cannot watch the show at the same time and read the subtitles. It's fucking impossible. Like you could do that with One Piece. You could do that with any other show like that has subtitles, like Bleach. You could do that. This show, I'm focused on them fucking subtitles and I don't even see what's on the screen. But sometimes what I do is I take it and I rewind it to look up and see what's happening around on the screen. And it just be a bunch of bullshit, just a bunch of chaotic shapes and colors and different environments that don't even make sense.
And here's the beauty of it, not to make this a topic at this point, because but what the Monogatari series does such a good job of is making unserious things so serious, and making serious things unserious. Well said. But it's like it's everything has a point. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's like focal point of the show, but they use it for emphasis in a way. Like you said, there's a point. It's I think it's a great series, bro. I'm so happy you're watching it.
Yeah, I've been loving it. I didn't think I was going to be this deep into it, but I'm invested. I'm involved, and I was able to pick it up just like at a snap of a finger. Like it was nothing. It was quite fun actually to watch. I'm gonna just say that. And another thing I want to swing to was I caught up on My Happy Marriage. So, a voice cracked, puberty too. My Happy Marriage, like, okay.
Oh goodness.
Where I want to start. Listen. Hear me out. Everybody that's been listening.
All right, here we go.
Everybody that's been listening to this podcast know me. Okay, I'm a very, very slice of life forward kind of guy. All right. Absolutely love slice of life. This show is good. Mm-hmm. It's good. Mm-hmm. It's good. Hear me out first. Hear me out. To take a word from your book. It's good, but it feels really off.
Okay.
Really, really off. And let me tell you why. The supernatural shit has to fucking go. Like these powers, that whole thing just does not belong here. It does not belong in this show whatsoever. It literally detracts from the show being something spectacular. Like the show is good, but when they start talking powers and it's okay. When they start talking a power situation and I'm married to her for this and that, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I don't know how many people watched it, but I kind of tone out. It's when it's in its slice of life stuff, when it's the Cinderella story stuff that is spectacular. And then all of a sudden you go to this power shit and it completely detracts from everything that it has good going for it. Because every time the power shit come up, I'm like, ugh, the power stuff feels like a just something to push the narrative in a way that I don't quite agree with. Like I don't like the narrative can be pushed without it at all. Like it doesn't need to be there whatsoever. It could all be about politics and still work the exact same. The powers are useless. It takes away from the show. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like it belongs. It's just there. Now, two things. The dub is fine. The only Kudo, fantastic dub voice. Kudo's sister, fantastic dub voice. The other like the family fathers and the father's new wife, fantastic voice acting. Like all of that is great. Main girl character, hate her voice, can't stand it. And it's not. I don't blame it being the voice actress problem. Like I think it was the direction she was given. Don't like it. I hate every time she talks. I get frustrated because I don't want to hear it anymore. And then I was thinking about going to sub, but I'm like, I'm here now, so I might as well continue.
You already committed.
Yeah, I'm here, so I might as well continue. And then it just everything about the whole power thing just fucking sucks, man. It sucks, dude. It could be, you could duel without the powers being there. He can be a commander of an army without powers being there. She can be somebody who's actually special without the powers being there. It just none of that makes the story good whatsoever. It's everything to do with their relationship. Now, what the powers do for me personally is it rushes the other pieces of it, the other important parts, like the romance forming. Everything gets formed in a fucking snap of a finger. But because you have to have this whole power situation, that is kind of like it feels like a Netflix show. It feels like a rushed show when it comes to, because they're trying to fit so much bullshit in. If it didn't have the powers, or if it did have the powers, then make it 24 episodes or make the episodes longer or something, like, cause it just everything feels rushed, and I find myself not giving a fuck or rolling my eyes at the situations, because I'm like, yo, maybe this would have been one to watch week to week. It would have probably been better, because I'm like, I can't really care about much of anything. But I will say this: when they're in their slice of life bags, and the powers are like few and far between, when they're not there at all, I'm emotionally invested. I care about her. I care about him. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like I'm feeling it. And then the powers come in and I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, okay, get me the fuck out of here.
So it has kind of like a push-pull effect on you, right? Like,
oh my God, that's perfect.
Like you're in, you're out, because of like, man, this story is getting good. Everything is good. I'm relating to these characters. I'm tired. I'm zoned in, and then all of a sudden it's like,
dog, she could have been. She could have been
nonsense
kidnapped.
Powers.
Yeah, she could have been kidnapped. Of the argument between the two families could have caused a candle to fall, and it could have been set on fire, and it would have been so much more just emotional. But you got these fucking people throwing lightning bolts and fire spells and telekinesis and blah blah blah. It's just stop. Just tell the story in a way where you're telling the story, because if you tell the story that way, I promise you it'll be much more emotionally invested. I know a lot of people are gonna be mad at me for saying this, but the show is good. It's just not spectacular as it could be if it didn't have the powers thing.
And you can tell me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of going off my own interpretation of what you're saying. But to me, it almost sounds like the actual relationship part of this show is so grounded.
Yes. And
like it feels like, I'm assuming it feels good in that relationship context of the story.
Amazing.
That the powers take you out of that grounding. You know what I mean?
100.
It just pulls you out. And that's completely understandable. Yeah. It entirely breaks the immersion. And obviously I imagine there are people who love that, right? But I think I'm with you, because there's and I haven't started this one yet, because I was going to binge it as soon as it was finished, but I could see 100% how that's gonna snap you out of it,
bro. And it's just because it feels good when it first start. It just feels so good. The show's going and they're talking and this, and we're gonna send you here because we feel like you would be better off. And he's supposed to be this cold-hearted dude who's gonna treat you like shit. So hey, bye bye. It's great, man. Everything there, and like the emotion you get invested in. You even I love the girl. Like I love her. I don't like her dub voice that much, but I love her because she's a sweetheart. You know, it's just shit that just completely pulls me out of it. That's just like, come on, what did this even come? Why did it even have to come? Because what happens is they take time in these 24-minute episodes explaining the fact that, listen, he's one of this and that he does this and he could do this and you don't have this, and because you don't have this, you're like, it's just, there's a lot that's just.
Unnecessary. Feels like fluff.
Yeah.
But you can be getting straight to the love.
It's so good. The relationships are so good. Even the hated relationships. Like, I fucking hate these people that you're supposed to hate. I hate them. And I love the people I'm supposed to love. I absolutely love them. Like, Kudo's sister is waifu. She's just the best.
Oh my goodness.
I just love her so much. Like, I would do anything for her type shit. And it's one scene in particular that she talks about where she regrets what she did. And I don't know, something about people who can come to the self-realization of their own mishaps is attractive to me. I don't fucking know. Judge me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Accountability.
Accountability. That's what it is. Something about accountability just, stiffens me up. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I'm on one today. But
Bro,
yeah,
bro, talking about he's standing at attention for some accountability.
I don't know where that even came from. I'm just on one today because I'm in a good mood. But I like the show. I do like the show. I want to say that, but I am going to come in with that critical eye. And what's crazy is that, like, I don't feel like anything that anybody has said on Twitter has even made me want to downplay it. Like, it does, like, everything they're saying on Twitter or everybody that loves the show for the reasons they love it, they're absolutely validated. Like, I would say that. Like, I wouldn't say that they overhyped it or undersold it or anything like that. And maybe it's because I wasn't paying that much attention, but I did see the conversations of people like, y'all see Happy Married, y'all. Like, I get exactly why that they're invested. It's just one part, just one piece of it. How funny.
One piece.
That just didn't sit right with me. And it was that. But everything else is exactly what everybody said. It's spectacular. Like, it's spectacular. But because of the other stuff in it, it just makes it good. Okay.
Damn. Hey, yo, that's crazy. I hate that for that show because
I thought you said you watched like the first 4 though, didn't you?
No. I was gonna watch it after the first 6, but then I was like, I don't want to watch that show specifically until it's done.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, my bad. I thought you at least was.
No, you good, bro.
Kind of invested in it a little bit. And then before we get to the One Piece, do you got anything before we get into that? Because I got one more thing before we go into live action.
Okay, well,
I've been popping off.
I know. We didn't even talk about episode of the week or anything.
Oh shit! Let's do that, huh? Let's go on episode of the week. What you got for your episode of the week this week?
My episode of the week is Rent a Girlfriend.
Yeah.
And my hope is that you pick something different.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Bleach was it.
It wasn't. Not this week.
Not this week. I don't think JJK was it either.
Yeah, it was okay. It was all me head back.
It was more so exposition.
Yeah.
Because it was just, we'll talk about that later, I guess. You know what? I'm gonna go somewhere different.
Where you going?
And it's only because it was so close to progress. The girl I like forgot her glasses.
I mean, hear me out.
It was
I'm
almost
surprised.
It was close. Everything else is just no. Cancel all of that. I'm tripping, bro, and I'm fucking pissed I didn't do this last week. My episode of the week this week is Masamune-kuns Revenge R, because I caught up on that as well.
Okay.
I forgot to talk about this last week because last week what happened was I rewatched Masamune-kuns season 1, like I said I was, and I caught up on Masamune-kuns Revenge and didn't talk about it at all last week. Show is fucking spectacular. I swear to goodness, it's on like my teen romantic comedy snafu levels right now where it's going, and it blew my mind. This most recent episode. The problem with my teen romantic, Masamune-kuns Revenge this week is that not every week. It comes out on Monday, so I forgot about it because I watched so much other shit. But can't
be that good.
It is. It really is, though. It actually is, because it put down a cliffhanger that's crazy. It pissed me off that it did it, but I understand why. It's like, yo, really? Like, it went in a whole different direction than what I thought coming from season 1. I'm gonna just put it that way. Show is good and very emotional. I was very shocked. Masamune-kuns Revenge is definitely my episode of the week this week because I can't believe I almost forgot about what happened at the end of it. Spectacular. It was spectacular. It was really, really good. Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the live action, I do have to say this. Because I watched a live action episode of One Piece, I picked back up One Piece.
Okay.
I've watched from, let me just give you a place. I watched from episode 540.
All right.
To 560.
Okay.
And okay, let me build this shit sandwich real quick. Start with something good, which is the bread. The show does an extremely good job of just plucking you back in right where I left off. As soon as I started the episode, it reminded me of everything that I was watching, what happened, what's going on in this particular arc in this world. And I was able to fall in like I never left.
Okay.
And it's been a couple of years.
The 7 minutes of recap does that for you.
Since I picked it up. Now in the middle, the 7 minutes of recap is exactly why the show is a fucking 1,000 episodes. Because you beat me to it. That's exactly where I was going. It's 7 minutes of recap, 10 minutes of an episode, and like the rest is just the end. Like it's to be continued. It drives me fucking insane. And then not much of shit happens in that 10 minutes because they only have 10 minutes. So it's so frustrating because I know it's just so much that they can cut out. Okay. Now, this is the Fishman Island arc. Okay. This is when the crew first gets back together after, 2 years of training separately after they get bodied. I'm going to spoil the Fishman Island arc. Okay. Just whatever.
I'm just saying, what?
It's been fucking, this is the middle of One Piece. This is 500 and something.
This is 10 years ago.
Yep. So this is the first time I seen Luffy use haki, the Conqueror's haki, or second time. He drops everybody, and he was using something else called some haki. And I had to ask on Twitter, I'm like, yo, can somebody can just people use all types of haki? And apparently I got the answer without being spoiled completely. I said, yeah, but it's rare. And I appreciate y'all for letting me know. This Fishman Island arc, fucking garbage, bro. It's absolutely trash. And it's like some of the worst anime I've watched in a very long time. Cause I'm coming from Bleach. I've seen all on Naruto. Like I'm coming from places where I know how this shit go. And this is some of the worst shit I think I've ever watched in my life. And hear me out. Cause it's like, it's important. I absolutely love these characters. Okay. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, Nico is my fucking favorite. She's the best. Chopper, he's fantastic. Usopp, he's even great now. I absolutely hate Frankie.
Frankie.
He brought out a motorcycle. He brought out a tank. He brought out a fucking Megazord. This arc, like I'm like, okay, it's turning into something I'm not gelling with at all.
Yeah,
we're fucking pirates. Why are you bringing out a mech? I love Brook too, by the way. Brook is also just fantastic, top tier character for sure. But like this is the arc, obviously, about the prejudice of the fish people, and the queen trying to become partners with the humans so they can get rid of the slavery, so they can go up to the surface and live, the surface life. And it's the story of the arc is fantastic. It's there. It's good. The story of it, that is, the execution of it is absolutely garbage, man. Like some of the worst dragged on storytelling I ever seen in my life. And they're fighting Hody, I think his name, Hordy Jones or some shit. And he's going off steroids. He's cracked out of his mind. And I mean, and the Straw Hats are, first off, Luffy knocked out 50,000 men with his Conqueror's haki, which was impressive, the most impressive part of the entire series. In the Straw Hats, you get to see everything they learned within those 2 years of their training, and they just start bodying another 50,000 or majority of 50,000. But it's just dragged on for so fucking long, dude. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I was fast forwarding through some shit, man. I'm just like, okay, move forward, okay, get past this. Because it was just so tedious. It was repeating the same shit over and over. And I understand that some of the shit they were repeating were 20 episodes ago because I've watched a lot because they're only 10 minute episodes. So I'm kind of like fast forwarding through the shit I've already seen, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's like I'm tired of seeing it and it's so slow. Everything is so slow. But I do love when I'm seeing them fight and I'm seeing them do their straw hat thing is great. It's everything around it that I hate, like this whole storytelling of this arc. While, like I said, the prejudice of the fishman people not liking the humans is understandable because they enslaved the fish people up above on the surface and they betrayed them and they did all, like, I get all of that. I get the whole concept of the story. It's the execution that fucking is the most garbage shit I've ever seen. Like, I've watched 500 something episodes. This is probably my least favorite arc ever. Like, ever. Alabasta was great. The fucking, even the Sky Island, that shit was fire. Like, Skypiea, you're right. Was great. Like, I enjoyed that, and not a lot of people do, but I fucking loved it. This is some of the most boring, just awful shit I've ever seen. And it's mostly because of Frankie bringing out mechs and tanks and fucking motorcycles and shit that I can't stand. But again, that doesn't matter because even though this arc is here, I love these characters, man. I just love them all. I love them. I absolutely love them all. I love them to the point where it's like this arc was absolutely shitty. I'm literally at the end, like, I'm at the part now where they're trying to figure out what to do next after everything is all done and settled and they had their feast or whatever and they're being celebrated like heroes, right? Like, I'm at the end of that and I'm like, cool, I can't wait to see what's next because I'm looking forward to seeing where they go now and just to be with the characters again and not these fucking story arcs of fish people betraying their own people and hating humans so much that is,
If are you watching 20 episodes a week of One Piece going forward or something like that?
I don't know. Whatever I watch, kind of deal.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, if you go and throw on 20 episodes, if it's dubbed, I can do that just to refresh myself.
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna do it, I'm just saying I don't want to commit myself to that if you're not gonna do it.
Understandable. Let me tell you where I am now, just in case if you want to pick up. I don't think I'm on episode 570.
Okay, 570.
Yeah. Yeah, 570 dub. Right. Which again, dub Nami is so good. Nico, dub Nico, so dub Sanji is good. Zoro is obviously Vegeta, so he's top tier. And Luffy's actually fine. I realized that I actually don't mind Luffy's voice as much as I thought I did when I first watched it, but I love it. I fucking love this show. It's a good show, and the fact that this arc was so shitty, but I still trucked through it, speaks a lot. You know, it says a lot about the show.
It's the same exact reason most people will truck through the show because they've grown attached to these characters after 1,000 episodes. It's hard to just let them go, right?
Yeah, I mean, because when they're doing shit, and it's fire, bro. And then it's like you do shit for an episode. It's like Luffy versus Hordy, final battle, but the final battle was 3 minutes. And it's like, because they're doing everything else to lead up to the final battle over and over and over again, and it's 3 minutes of him actually fighting. And it's like, oh, come on, bro. Just give me an episode of fighting. DBZ did better than this.
And they did more yelling.
True. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad to be back. But this is exactly why I put it down, because when I put it down, I was like tired of the truck of like going over and over everything. Like when they did like certain flashbacks, like I'm like, okay, come on, man. I had to like kind of fast forward 10 seconds to see, okay, what happens. I didn't miss much, and go forward 10 seconds. Okay, they're repeating the same thing they just said 20 seconds ago, so let me go forward again. And it'll be back to where it's like continuing in progress, because they're just literally flashbacking into something they showed me 10 episodes ago, which I understand for people who's watching week to week, but I'm not doing that. I saw this shit like 20 minutes ago. So like, come on. It's a pain. It's a pain. It's hard.
It's not a conducive show for people who are actually watching it.
Yeah.
Binging it.
Yes.
But if you're here for the long run, then I mean, you need a reminder, refresher,
which again was
perfect for that.
Exactly, because it was great when I first turned it on. I'm like, I don't remember what the fuck is going on, but they gave me that in the first 7 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, perfect. I'm like, okay, so they in this part of the sea. Okay, they're doing this because of this happened, and then now they're at war, and then okay, cool, let's go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to dive into it. Okay, then it was just fucking tedious. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, man, I've been talking so fucking much this episode. One Piece.
I like that. That was good.
Live action. I'm gonna give you the floor to start. Overall thoughts on the show itself, because I've been again talking so fucking much, and I bet people tired of it.
All right. Overall thoughts are I enjoyed it. I think they captured a huge part of what makes some of these connections and friendships so important. It also made me realize why I hate starting from the beginning of One Piece. If that makes sense at all, any way, shape, or form. But and I'll explain that a little bit more. But the characters themselves become so enjoyable and lovable that it is it's hard to not like some of them. Even like Usopp with all of his BS in a lot of ways. Like these characters, they just have relatable situations that make you start to like them more and more. But yeah, overall as an adaptation, I think it did really good. I think we addressed why they're fighting in the dark a lot of times and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it is one of the better live action ones I have watched actually. But go ahead, brother.
Okay. First things first, I want to say this to everybody out there who listens to Mic Check Waifu. Okay. Friends, again, I've seen friends, family, everybody who I love to death say this, and I'm going to just say this now. So again, don't be offended by it. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but I will say this. We need to stop as a group, as everybody, myself included, because I think I've done it before in the past. Stop saying, But Oda has something to do with this, so that means this is going to be good. Of course it's going to be good because Oda had everything to do with it. Oda approved of this, so it's going to be good. Stop, please.
Right.
That Oda haven't approving of it or signing off on it means absolutely dick shit when it comes to it being good or not. Okay, I am gonna say it. I don't care what you say. Yes, him approving of it is good. It is great for like lore wise stuff. Doesn't matter if it still doesn't look right in a live action adaptation. Okay, so what's up?
And there's I'm gonna say specifically because and hear me out. I know he does an anime and a manga, but hear me out. He's not doing a live action movie regularly.
That's what I'm saying.
If this is a top tier movie producer and that's what he focused on primarily, I will understand
exactly
that philosophy. But he is an anime and manga producer. That's what he creates. So that concept that he can just write a movie is gonna always be false because he has to. It's a crap you have to practice.
Yeah. Oda approved. The Oda approved, so of course it's gonna be good. Like, stop. Nobody in the world deserves that. Okay, like Hideo Kojima is one of the best video game directors of all time, and he still has some flops. So let's just stop. Let's understand that even a name isn't enough sometimes. Okay, just slow down, back off the tip just a little bit. Okay, and look at it from an objective point of view. I will say this. This is one of the best anime adaptations of anything. Period. It's good. It's definitely good. However, this is a question I have for you, Montel Williams. Sorry to say your government, but whatever.
It's already out there now.
What is the purpose of an anime live action adaptation? What is the purpose?
To draw in people who are not going to watch anime.
Now, somebody who don't watch anime, would they enjoy this? From my perspective, now hear me out first. Mm-hmm. I would have all the way up until yesterday, and this is a story I'm kind of trucking through again, but all the way up until yesterday, I would have said absolutely fucking not. This is the most obscene, campy, terrible, like, from a person who don't watch anime. Okay, and this is, take your mind there. From a person who don't watch anime, this is the most weirdest shit you would ever see in your life. Nothing. Everybody looks like they're cosplaying something. Like the effects are terrible. Zoro's sword gets fucking bent when he does one of his roles. Everything just looked plasticky and toys, and it had and like terrible cosplays. Okay. Now I'm saying that from a person who watch anime. This shit looks great from my perspective, because it's so accurate to what One Piece is when it comes to like the look of it, right? The hairs, the stuff like that. It looks great to me. But somebody coming in from the outside who don't watch anime, which is I think is the point of a live action show, they'll be like, yo, this shit looks awful. Like, what the fuck am I even watching? Like, it wouldn't make sense, I think, to people who's coming out from that. I thought. Now, hear me out.
Yeah, I got a top. I can say something about that for sure.
There was a streamer who has a clip on YouTube who said that who was talking to his father. He was like, his father asked him, "Hey, do you watch this thing called have you ever read this thing called manga?" And he was like, "Yeah, Dad, of course I do." His dad said, "Well, I saw this show, and apparently it's based off of a manga, and it's called One Piece on Netflix. I watched it, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it." Old dude in his 60s, in his early 70s, I think, actually. And I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So my thought just until yesterday was always going to be coming into this anime like, yeah, this shit is great for anime lovers like us. It's great for One Piece fans like us. I don't think it's going to do anything for anybody who don't watch anime, because it looks fucking just weird. And to be honest, I'm gonna just say it bad if you don't watch anime. If you don't understand the campiness, the dramatization of everything that they have going on with the powers and shouting the name of the moves and shit, like,
right,
it wouldn't make sense. But hearing somebody say who's a fucking old man who don't know anything about anime or manga or anything like that, say, I'm enjoying this show so much, and what's making me so upset is that it's only 8 episodes and I'm on episode 6. I was taken back by that, because I'm like, damn, I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
And hear me out, right? I told you I watched like the first 4 episodes. It really turned out to be the first 5. And I remember, when I turned on the 5th episode, Monique was in the room. I turned it on and she wasn't looking. She's like, damn, you gonna turn on One Piece without me? And I was like, I didn't really realize you was enjoying it. She was like, I love these characters. Just like that, right? We haven't even met all the characters yet. Well, I think we met all the characters at that point, but we haven't even gotten to like the latter end of the show. And I started to realize all the parts she was crying at. But after noticing that she really, really enjoyed the show, she shed tears during this show, loved the characters. When it was over, she was like, all right, when's the next episode? Where's the next episode? It was like, nah, babe.
Interesting.
That's the last episode. It's not going to be out another episode for another 12 months or however long they said the production schedule is going to be. And she said, I feel like I got everything I wanted, but I want more now. And
love that.
Now you got to understand, my wife only watches slice of life anime with me. So this is way out of her element. Now she knows that I liked One Piece years ago, but this is a new experience for her, and to see, how she reacted to seeing how Luffy acts in actuality outside of her hearing what I'm saying, I think she really enjoyed it. And I think that it's weird, but like you said, I would have thought that this would not have been necessarily digestible for new, anime watchers or people who aren't into anime. But man, I guess they really packed enough into those moments to like it fit the palette of those people,
I'm so glad to be wrong about that too. Like I was steadfast on like, I don't think people that don't watch anime, I was ready to be like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna like it. Period. Like I was gonna call out an objective fact, but I was wrong. I was completely wrong, because it's that, like, again. Okay, to go into what I didn't like. Okay. Yeah. I fucking hated Sanji. Sanji just isn't cool enough for me in this live action. He's a little too, it just don't feel cool. And Sanji is actually as weird as he is, and me just watching what I've been watching recently, as a woman crazy as he is, this Sanji tries to pretend to be cool, and it just don't fit him because he's not. You could tell this motherfucker was not smooth in any way.
Yeah. It would be cooler if he was just being anime Sanji, where he was just, you know, all over the place, I guess.
Yeah, anime Sanji is so smooth. He's smooth at first, and then when he see a girl, he starts to freak out, and that's the funny part about him. This Sanji is like, he just tries to pretend to be cool, and ain't nothing cool about him. Anytime that there was anything that had to do with Zoro on the screen, he took over the fucking screen. Okay, he was. I guess I'm going into something good now. Zoro was the fucking star of the show, easily the star of the show, like bar none. Luffy, he did his thing for what he had, but unfortunately he has the hardest job as an actor because he has all the gum unrealistic the yelling, screaming and shit. Like, his fights were absolutely atrocious. Like, every fight that had Luffy in it was just garbage. It was,
when he had to fight Garp and he did the arm cannon thing, and you saw his arm stretch out, he was like, oh, they clearly added blur effect to that, and it's dark. It was like, come on, bro.
It looked just so bad. It was just so bad. But, and then you got the thing I like was Nami is just, she's
fire.
She looks great. She's beautiful. I love her actress. I don't like her voice. Her voice isn't really Nami. Nami is much more upbeat intentionally, right? Like, she's more vibrant intentionally because that's the facade she puts on so she could do her thieving thing. Like, this one, she just felt like a sly, conniving fox, which is
right.
fine. Which is
it was an over dramatized or dramatized version of her, right?
Yeah, more angry though, I would say, just more mean. You know, it wasn't as. Cause I'm telling you, when you go back and watch One Piece, like the anime, her character is Nami is a lot better than I've ever remembered, because of the simple fact is I guess I had these two in my mind at the same time, but.
Right.
The live action Nami was drab and sly. This Nami is upbeat and hey, and this and this and this, and still sly. You know, it's a more cunning type of like facade that she put on that's so fun and upbeat, and you kind of want to be around her, and then she takes from you, and then you believe her. Like, this one, she just seems like a quiet thief who's kind of mean and you know. Got a little attitude to her, got a little, you know, more, I don't know, strength to her, I guess, if you will. And it's
a little bit more cut off.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool for the emotional aspect of it when you're talking about somebody who hasn't seen anime, who watched this. She's great for that. I would have preferred the more upbeat Nami. I think now, after this arc that we've gotten in future, is going to be much better because she's the Nami of, I think she's going to become the Nami of the show.
Yeah. Now, I did want to add to that whole thing you said about how you don't like Nami's voice. And I think that this did something that is more specific to anime that I thought I was really going to hate. And I'm going to tell you the honest truth, I did hate it. So the acting itself, I didn't find absolutely atrocious. Like, it was anime acting, right? But here's what I hated, was the cadence of the conversations amongst characters. And in the actual anime, it's a little bit more understandable because these are two, you know, fictional characters in a hand-drawn or animated world, right? And you don't want to necessarily have them talking over each other. So I completely understand that in terms of, I guess like how to actually put it together so that you can understand each person linguistically. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you have like actual living characters on the screen, it doesn't feel real when they're arguing and you wait each moment, like, you know what I mean, to hear out what your mortal enemy is saying in every moment. You know what I mean? Yep.
The thingy one-liners or whatever.
Right. The cadence and whatnot, it does feel off to make it feel believable, like this is a live action. But also, like I said, I didn't think that this was necessarily going to be easily digestible for people who had never seen One Piece. Right. To me, it wasn't abnormal. It just felt different because these were living people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That conversation didn't feel like a true conversation where I'm trying to be better than you. You know what I mean? Right. I can understand it between Sanji and Zoro, but why is Luffy in a live action scenario letting, you know, Arlong talk his piece? knock his teeth out before he even say anything. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like if in the live action series, that's more how it should be. But it fits for One Piece. You know what I mean?
You know what the best part about it, the villain, I guess, of it is? Obviously, Buggy. Buggy fucking killed it, dog.
And he popped off, and I had to remember his actual introduction, and it wasn't creepy, but it was still kind of twisted for a cartoon, or anime, and it was to see that live was crazy.
It was so good. It was so good, man. I think it was the perfect. I think he had the most perfect setup. Kuro, the whole Kuro fight. I wish they would have done more like the anime, to be honest, because that shit was so whack. It was just so bad. But
the zipping.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a zipping. It was just him as I guess that dude just didn't fit the mode of what I saw. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't. He wasn't, again, as smooth as what I know Kuro to be. You know what I'm saying? The Kuro when he does the fucking walk. Y'all can't see me if you listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
But if he does his shadow walk and shit, it just looks so clean in the anime that I think they could have done it in live action. He just chose not to. He was more of a Mante character in this one, opposed to the smooth kind of like, oh, I got this. Smooth, confident Kuro. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm not saying that the show was bad because of him. It just, I think he didn't fit what I saw as far as like live action to anime. That's all.
Right.
It was still good though. Like the story of it. And the changes they made was still good, in my opinion.
And to be fair, we are being nitpicky. You know what I mean?
Very
like
much so.
These are things that we feel would have elevated the show just past being good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because it's, like I said, it's not that we're saying the show is bad. It's just there are some things that could have elevated, and that would have been things like, you know, if you're casting a character who isn't quite as tall and lanky as Kuro, at least try and get him to imitate those actions that were so 100%. Iconic to the character. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because he had this down. You know what I mean? The little eye touch with the glasses. He had that down. But I did, like you said, to me, the Kuro in the anime didn't necessarily seem as ominous, but he seemed, like you said, smooth, and that smoothness made him scary, to our characters.
Yes, and then dude, he did his little walk, and he was shadow stepping. It just feel, I don't know, it just felt good. It felt good. He was, like I said, he was more of a mantic character with this like weird, super fat head, and just everything it just didn't fit. Like I said, it still was a good way. Like all the changes they made to condense the story and to bring everything like kind of full circle in a way that One Piece would never fucking do in their day in their life was spectacular, man. I did not expect for it to be so condensed, but still feel good as far as like getting to know the characters and the movement, and the way they incorporated stuff. Like it was really, really good. I could have dealt with less Kobe, but I get why they gave us more Kobe, because that was a huge driving force to push the story forward when it came to like the overall progression of each, arc that they had. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that it was all well done. It was extremely well done. This is definitely one of the best live actions for sure.
What do you think about Garp?
Garp was fantastic. Minus the costume design, Garp was fantastic.
Garp was one of my favorite characters, because it was like, we know his underlying motivations, but just his stoicness, even with what was happening, was dope. It was like, I'm so glad I get it. Vice Admiral Garp.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they didn't make him wear that stupid ass hat though. Like it just, I hated the costume designing on a lot of these characters. Like it was just so. I bought it from Walmart, man. Like Garp,
he might have to wear the hat in the future.
But his hat though went all the way around. It was like a mask almost.
Oh, you mean the dog helmet?
Yeah, it was just a dog hat with flaps, and it was too small for his head. It didn't like it. Like when Garb came on the screen on One Piece on the anime, it was wrapped around his whole face. His eyes was covered. You know what I'm saying? He was Garb. This one is definitely Garb, but he had his hat off most of it because he know how fucking stupid it looked. Probably. Yeah. But another thing that just showed up and showed out for me was Mihawk. Motherfucker is almost perfect, like to the T.
It fits, like even the visual presence of the character. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It fits Mihawk.
I wish he was like bulkier, but man, that's just me being nitpicky again.
Yeah, because I feel like his shoulders were broader, but it's hard to have a character tall, skinny with extra broad shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that might be a skeletal impossibility, but it's anime. But everything tied to Zoro was actually kind of really good in that sense. Good. You know what I mean? Because it really felt like that continued. Like that continuation of exactly who Zoro was, even when at the very end we get them shouting and Zoro's like, I'm not doing that. Like you can see it in his face. It was like I love that they kept that personality trait for the character.
He was the best character in the entirety of it all. I'm so sad for Sanji because I love Sanji just as much as I love Zoro in the anime. Mm-hmm. Like I love those two almost equally, and I think that's intentional. But I could not like Sanji here because, again, for one, you could tell Sanji's hair is a wig. Like everybody else's hair is naturally or just dyed, but that motherfucker got a wig. Like he's. I think, as a matter of fact, hold on. I think the real actor is bald, if I'm not mistaken.
So he had a lace front.
He definitely got a lace, and you could tell him his fucking. It look. Yeah, he is. Yep, that's exactly why it looked weird. It just looked like it just was floating on his head for a lot of it. Yeah, he doesn't have hair.
Bro said put the lace front on to be Sanji. That
makes a whole lot of sense. But like I'm hoping it grows on me a little bit more during the show. But like any one of his fighting scenes was also look not good to me. But I have to remember that this isn't a Marvel movie, right? This isn't going to have the effects of a Marvel studio, right? It's going to have the effects of a TV show. And I will say this looks better than the Flash, the CW Flash. I mean, as far as effects go.
With continued success, it might get a bigger budget because Netflix is not going to let One Piece go.
Now they're definitely not because it's doing extremely well. So
right.
Yeah, it's I'm definitely looking forward to more. I love Usopp. Usopp was great. Like again, one of my favorites too. Zoro, it's like in the rankings, it goes Zoro, Usopp, Nami, Luffy, Sanji.
Yeah, I think I can rock with that.
Yeah, for sure. I've been talking so much. I'm so sorry, y'all.
No, you're good. That's exactly how I would see it. Probably only thing is I'm gonna probably keep it in that same order. That sounds right, bro.
Yeah.
Especially for this live action adaptation.
For sure. Because anime is different. It's fucking obviously Nico number one, then Zoro, and then Nami, and then Sanji, and then Chopper, and then Usopp.
I'm putting Brooke over Chopper.
Oh, facts. No, Brooke. I keep forgetting about Brooke. Then Chopper.
And then Frankie.
Frankie. Frankie's cool, man.
You just forgot one, didn't you?
Probably. I don't know. Maybe somebody.
Never mind.
Somebody's not in the crew yet, probably. But yeah, but it's fun, man. It made me the Netflix One Piece made me want to go watch the anime, and I'm sure it did that for so many people. So this is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Like if you watch some anime and you watch this live action, you're like, oh, this shit was kind of no, it is good. I'm gonna just say it is good.
Yeah.
Then they probably went over to the anime, so I'm excited about that perspective of it too.
I'm actually interested in numbers of sales, like see if their manga sales went up or the anime viewership went up. Because obviously anime viewership went up, but I wonder if they actually translate to manga sales, like hard copy sales.
I would love
that. Would be crazy too.
Yeah, I would totally love that. It was good, man. I'm loving the success of this too, man. It ain't got nothing to like. It just I want more of this success when it comes to these adaptations. I don't ever want to see them fail. Like Cowboy Bebop failing hurts, but. I think
because it had a very right vibe in the trailers.
For sure. And it's just it's so disappointing. They went more anime than the anime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that downfall. Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna do some we went for a long time. We're gonna do some recommendation roulette. It's your turn to roll the year this year. We're gonna recommend some anime.
All right, let me see.
Remember September 24th, Sunday at 10:30 CT. youtube.com/@MikeCheckWaifuWaifu. We're going to do the fall preview, meaning we're going to share your previews, get your sleepers, share our sleepers, and find shows to build our list out. So make sure you join us there.
The year is 2017.
2017, I think we just did. No, we didn't.
That was, I think, yeah, we didn't do 2017 last time.
We definitely done it in the past though.
Yeah, just in the last couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, we actually know we did this last week.
All right, here, let's just go up one year. We're gonna do 2018.
That's funny because this is literally what happened last time. All right, 2018. Oh no. Banana Fish has an 84%. That is wild to me.
It is highly received.
That is crazy. Shit's so bad. That's a lot of that's decent stuff. You know what? I'm gonna go with a slice of life romance, which is definitely not. It's not watched at all, but it's about it's called Real Girl. It's about a guy who doesn't like 3D women, and he wound up finding a 3D woman. And it's the 3D woman is a gal girl, something you would never expect. And these two maybe find love, maybe they don't, but it's a slice of life drama that's extremely entertaining that I actually enjoyed a lot. It only has a 65%, which is baffling to me, but whatever.
Almost recommended Record of Grand Crest War again, but let's do. Technically, it's the season 3, I think. No, let's not do that one. No, let's not do that one. I'm going to do. Where is it at? Megalobox. Megalobox is a futuristic boxing anime. It is about boxing, but it's way more about relationships and interactions amongst characters.
Dope. All right, we're gonna take this quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about what we spoiling because we haven't talked about that yet. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 219 of Mic Check Waifu. We decided that this is already kind of a long episode, and there's only just one show we really want to talk about this week, and that is going to be episode 9 of Rent a Girlfriend, because that episode was big, and this episode is already pretty long because we talked about a lot. And to be honest, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Tell. I've talked so fucking much this episode, and I feel terrible.
So,
and I don't feel terrible for you because I know you okay with me talking, but I feel terrible for everybody else who gotta hear me. So
I don't think they coming specifically for my voice; they coming for us.
It's true. That's why I feel bad for talking too damn much. So this is gonna be a Rent a Girlfriend heavy spoiler. So if you haven't watched episode 9, obviously come back when you do, and enjoy. All right.
So this is my episode of the week. I think it was a phenomenal episode. Obviously,
couldn't agree more.
I feel like we had a lot of gut checks leading to what the end of this show would look like.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of those things kind of might still happen, or they gotta still happen, right? Like they gotta give us some closure with the other girls. But hear me out. This is different than what I expected, and meaningfully so. Yeah. If that makes sense, right? Because they kind of I think I kind of approached this topic a little bit more, but they thrust that decision on us, where the characters have to make a decision, they have to talk. And it's kind of, I'm not upset with it, bro. I'm not upset with it because it put both of our main characters in a position to be more adult with this decision.
Sure, but it also, at the same time, it doesn't, right? And hear me out. Doesn't take it from your book again. She didn't tell her grandmother the truth.
Yeah.
Even though she felt super conflicted about it, which I think that kind of leans towards what I said last week when my gut check was like, she's not going to tell her because she don't want it to be. She's realizing that she doesn't want it to not be true herself.
Right.
So maybe that's going to push it forward. But I don't think there was no real decision made at all. I just think that it was more so of an avoidance of the question itself and what you're saying. So I think it's the opposite. I think this is now it's going to be a distance between them because a distance between them this particular episode, but going forward is obviously going to change because of what happened at the end of this episode. But we can get to that a little later. But I think it was a rough episode.
It was rough. And hear me out, and I'm not trying to equate necessarily my life experiences to this, but my grandmother just passed, bro. Obviously earlier this year. And it's like, man, and I know you've been going through similar things, you know what I mean? You've experienced that too. So it's kind of like
both my grandfather and grandmother.
Yeah. And it's like, we've had these, we can relate to this experience, but obviously in the love department, it's a little bit different, right? How do you deal with this moment? You know what I mean?
Yes.
If it's somebody you really care for, even let's say they are just a friend, right? But let's say like your best friend. Like, so when my grandmother passed, obviously Polow couldn't be there, but some other boys from Cleveland, they came through, pulled up, showed love. And I was very appreciative of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, if in this scenario, what is the proper move for them? You know what I mean?
For like them or him?
Him more or less, because he did come and showed his love. But like, how do you approach this relationship at this point? You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking you might be right. You know what I mean? In terms of like, this is a detractor to the relationship in the sense of like, it's a hindrance to the growth of it. But I feel like whatever comes out of it is like a mandatory, you know, growing moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
how do you even approach this? Like, I guess what he did at the end is kind of the accurate representation, but like, if we in America, we don't necessarily have that option. So, how would you take that option there and elevate that?
Yeah, there's so many different things that I think he could have done that I probably would have done in a situation like this. Because look, okay, so let's say we're in the exact same situation, right? where maybe we're faking a relationship for our grandmother's sake or you know, what have you. At a time like this, you know her so well, like you really know her so well that you can totally step in and say, simply grab her and just hug her and say, it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be upset. And I think that's all he needed to do. And I think that's what he's going to do in the next episode, i.e. future gut check guest. But that's really it. Like, that's it. Just simply give her an outlet to where she feels like she can cry on your shoulder or just let it out in a way that she got to do with her grandmother. Yes. But in a way she needs more so, because again, now that she's gone, Miss Sayori's gone, she doesn't have anybody at all. No family.
And that's the route I was hoping you were going to take, right? Because I think that makes a lot of sense for us. Because we always talk about how he's different. You know what I mean? He is very lacking in the confidence department. Which
mature period.
It is the worst part of the show.
Yes.
That he lacks that confidence, that maturity to actually approach and figure out that situation, right? Active problem solving, he doesn't really have it. In that specific field, everything else, for whatever reason, he got it. But when it comes to love, he doesn't have it. And the fact that is what he could simply do, because they've had an embrace before, but this is a time where the embrace needs to be a lot more intentional. Because that's what she needs. She needs that intention, right?
And it doesn't even have to be it doesn't even have to revolve around the relationship between the girlfriend and boyfriend type of thing. It could just be a friend embracing a friend who needs somewhere to cry or somewhere to just let out that emotion, or just have to know that they have somebody. It's where it's at, because again, she is a college student with no mom, no dad, no grandmother, no aunts. Nobody right now.
I know nothing.
Nothing right now. And I could not imagine how that feels for her right now. I can't. Like, I feel so bad for her to be in this situation.
Yeah, and then the last person she had passed before they could actually do the full reveal of what she wanted to show her. But, you know, nonetheless, she still got to see it in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was beautiful.
That was wonderful.
Be able to,
I shed a thug tear at that part.
Yeah, I did too. Mostly because I didn't get to make that, but it was beautiful to see that, you know, at least she got that, bro. She got that, and she got to show her. She got to see her on the screen. She got to see the movie was produced. And then even the lie confession, you know, told her that I lied to you. She's like, I want to know, but I don't want to know. Because she told her, I want to die with this piece, essentially. But I feel bad that you felt the comfort, or you felt the need to have to lie to me about anything. You know what I mean? But it almost gives us that idea that, like, your grandmother was going to be on your side regardless.
Yep.
She's in a moment where she has to be accepting of everything, more or less, because she's dying. But the beauty of that was that her grandmother seemed like she would have been accepting regardless. She just wanted something big for her, and that's what our main character produces, that feeling for her grandmother. Kazuya, and I was thinking of his name, but I had it right in my head the whole time. Kazuya, the beautiful thing about that is that he shows that love that they demonstrated previously in the previous episode that the grandmother saw for her husband.
Yeah,
and it's really crazy because he basically already won. He already secured the package, the deal. He has the love of his life if he just, I guess, move forward. Yeah. He can plan this movie, but he can't plan to move forward and talk to this woman.
Bro, that's a bar. It's so hard. And again, I get why people won't like it or don't like it. It's so hard to just watch at some points. Like, it's easy to watch because it's not a bad show. Like, I enjoy watching the show, but it's so hard to watch. Just so many fumbles, bro. It's like watching football, and every time your team gets the ball, they fumble. Or like the Cowboys beating the New York Giants 40-0. Like, it's so hard to watch him just fumble over and over and over. Get rid of Ruka. Tell her, listen, I love Chizuru. Like, that's who I want. So to make this easier, I'm going to step back from this and focus on that. It's like the only person that's making any kind of logical sense is the cosplaying, streaming, nerdy weirdo.
And she the youngest one in the group.
And she's the youngest of them all. Yeah, exactly. Like she's the only one making any logical sense who's trying to push things forward. And it's just so frustrating because it's even hard for me to even think about the fact that these are college students. Now, Chizuru, I understand because she has no fucking clue. She's the most oblivious girl. Like she knows how she's starting to feel and she's starting to come to terms with that, not even realizing that she feels this way. And it's completely natural for her because of what he's giving off. He's just giving off weird, I'm trying not to be awkward around her shit. And I don't know, man. Maybe this is how we need to look at it because again, we were a little bit more deliberate with our moves and maybe smooth or whatever you want to call it. But maybe this is just hard for us to view because it's coming from, and this may seem like an extremely disrespectful term to use, but it's literally what I feel when I watch him on fucking screen. It pisses me off. It's coming from an incel point of view. Like somebody who has no fucking idea what to do with women. And is, we have to kind of like step into that mind frame, which is impossible for us. He
an incel that broke free from the incel traits and was like, I actually like women.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right though, because that's exactly what it looks like. Like, and it's not. Let's not even say just women alone, right? Let's take the fact that it's women out of it. If this was just a regular friend, it's kind of wild because he could just really, like you said before, do regular friend activities. Just say you are sad. What do sad people need to feel better? And like you said, that's the hard part about the shows, bro. What do sad people need to feel better? All they need is, most of the time, they need you to just talk to them.
Yep. Or just time.
They need you to comfort them, time, presence, sometimes silence. And I love silence and just being around the people I care about.
Yep.
Sometimes that's all they need. And it's like, bro, you fumbling the bag yourself.
I'm going to retract what I just said because I was wrong. Incel isn't the correct term. Because he had a girlfriend. Like this show started with him having Mommy John. Mm-hmm. And Mommy is as much of a prick as she is, she was beautiful, right? Like he had a proper pretty girlfriend and she just left him. So I don't understand why this is so hard. I mean, maybe it is because of the miscommunication they had from the very jump with the whole rent a girlfriend. And this is all it's going to be. And I'm not allowed to fall in love with my clients type thing. Maybe that could be what sheds the awkwardness on this fucking just weird caginess with him. That could be it. I have to also remember that and put that in perspective as well. But time has passed. You have to understand. You have to read the tea leaves. God damn it.
And what's coming next?
Yeah. Speaking of what's coming next, we obviously know that he knows that he needs to do something and you decided to rent her. Mm-hmm. Was that the right move to rent her? And I say this, right? Had it been like a random client, no. Because I feel like she's not going to be taking a client anytime soon. That's my thoughts too. But because it's him, it's him. And that's the funny thing is that he doesn't realize that he is, and that's the weird thing, like you are what? Sorry, your mic cut out. He's him. You know what I mean? Yeah. And by him, I mean that like you the one to like put an end to this, but he doesn't have that confidence yet. But I do think it's the right move because of who he is. It puts him in a position to where it's almost like this is where it started, but this is where we need to start. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like this is where it started, but I need to say something to say like this is where we need to start. I completely understand what you're saying, but I don't agree with it. Only because I think the renting is the wrong move. It's the absolute wrong move. In a time like this, you think she needs to make money? Oh, she's done. Basically, like at this point, she just needs to be with a person, and for you to rent her just means that you're forcing her to be with you in a situation where she's might not be ready for. So she's your fucking neighbor, dog. Like, go to her, knock on the door, and simply say, hey, I know I said this before, okay? I know you need somebody right now. So let me be there for you to need. I'm here. I'm him.
Yeah.
and
I wish he had that energy.
Yeah,
but
bro. It's not even, you don't even need that much energy. She's next fucking door. She's right there.
You're right. I wish he had that energy, but that's what I'm saying. This has been the most consistent thing, right? Whenever she's needed him, what did he do? He went back to the same thing. While I think, yes, 100%, this is the time for him to be mature and say, all right, what's going on? What can I do? How are you feeling? Instead of doing that, he can't outright do that because he just doesn't have that mental capacity. I feel like we dogging him, bro.
It's deserved. But renting just feels
wrong.
It feels forced in a situation to where you shouldn't be. Like, I don't, like, if I'm in this situation, I'm fucking hurt, I'm crushed, I lost the only person I had. You want to force me to be with you right now, and a girlfriend to put on that girlfriend act is obviously not what she's going to think.
They can turn down the jobs, obviously, but yeah, you're right. It feels forced because of who he is to her.
Yeah, like right now, I don't want to be rented. I want to be cared about. It's just, I don't know. Even if you knock on her door and say, listen, I'm him, I'm here, cry if you need it, and she says no, that's one step. Do it again later. Give her 3 days. Do it again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If she needs that space, give her that space and then do it again. Don't rent her. Like, that's, I don't know. And maybe I'm speaking too logical. Maybe it's coming from a place of, I don't know, like, this is an anime. This is a drama, slice of life, romance anime. So I have to keep that in mind, and the drama has to be there. And I think the renting is going to turn out to be a different result than what I'm expecting or what I would normally expect in this type of situation.
Right. Because I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's going to probably be more along the lines of what you said, and it's going to work in his favor, which I don't quite agree with.
Yeah. I can see it back when I can see it not. Yeah,
exactly. Again, let's go back to what we said. We've done this multiple times each time we talked about this. How do you think it's going to end now?
I feel like at this point, I don't even care about a wrap up for the rest of the girls. I feel like we gotta have something, but I feel like him solidifying a relationship with her can be the wrap up with the rest of the girls. Boom, that's donezo, right? But I need transparency. That's what I need. I need them to be transparent. Like she needs to say, I've just started feeling this way and just now started realizing what it actually is. He needs to be like, I love you, and you never lied to your grandma because I'm your boyfriend, or I want to be your boyfriend. So let's make this work. I need that transparency.
Let's not make it a lie. Let's make it the truth.
Yeah,
I want that from her.
Yeah,
but this is what I think. Okay, I think this rant that he just did is going to cause drama, and here's how. I think that this rant is going to draw out mommy and her villainy, in which she's going to see them somewhere, or she's going to, meet him or meet them on their way out, or some shit like that, to where she's going to step up and be that villain mommy Chan that we know and love, actually hate. And it's going to cause them, I hope, force them to be more direct with each other and what they're doing and who they are and where they're going. But I'm hoping, that's my hope. And then that leads to him pulling Ruka aside and saying, look here, thank you so much for what you've done. You've been incredible. I'm going here. Ruka, I know I'm sad. I'm still going to try to win you. That's just where I'm at. It's going to be a Yukino kind of situation. Then, but before that, maybe Sumi is going to speak up in an episode, actually speak and say, listen, this whole time I've always loved you, for him to deny her and break my fucking heart. But that's where I see this is going. And it's going to be a wrap up and like a way of quintessential quintuplet type deal, to where it's like, he kind of clears it out by making a decision, or finally making the decision. I should say, not a decision, the decision.
Hopefully.
It's frustrating because I love watching this show, but I hate watching the show. You know?
Yeah. Because it's so uncertain.
It's so uncertain, but it's so good. At the same time, obviously, it's still, how hated is it now? This season 3 in particular, it's 69%. Nice, which is slightly better than season 2, which is slightly better than season 1. So, season 1 68%, season 2 60. Season 1 68%. Season 2 actually went down to 67, and then season 3 went up to 69. So.
It's dope.
It's kind of an on and off kind of situation. But to be fair,
what's up?
I'm at Polow Born Flying on social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on X and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, Mike Check.
Oh.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?